Hi guys, so today I want to talk to you about our next project. What we're going to be looking at is the basics of fashion sewing. Ideally, after doing this project, you guys will have the tools and the knowledge that if we are to return to school, that we can get right onto some sewing machines and start sewing right away. If we're not to return to school, at least you'll have some of the knowledge of how to do this and have some good guidance on how to get started if you have a sewing project you want to work on. So the project is titled Basics of Fashion Sewing, and we're going to complete it on Edpuzzle. If you haven't used Edpuzzle before, it's a really cool website. A lot of our classrooms are using it. And basically, what you're going to do is you're going to create a video and you're going to add some questions so that we can get some better knowledge on the topic that you're assigned. So through Edpuzzle, I want to show you guys how to complete the assignment so that you have a good idea of what to do. And then we'll talk more in depth about how your assignment's actually going to work through Google Classroom. So on Edpuzzle, this is what my home screen is going to look like. I am in my practice class right now. Yours will be titled with our classroom name, so fashion design. And what you'll see is when you click on your classroom, under due assignments is where your project's going to be found. Because it's a practice for me, I have it under no due date, but you will find yours under due date. So you're going to click on the assignment and it's going to open up a page. So basics of sewing, it'll have our goal here and some instructions. So our instructions are to help develop a video that informs the viewer about your topic and assesses their understanding. So I'm going to click the blue button that says Start Project. All right, so to start my project, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a video I want to use. Like I said, we're going to talk about topics that will help us be able to sew when we're ready to. So the topics that we're going to talk about are how to read a sewing pattern, how to sew a zipper, how to sew a button in a buttonhole, how to thread a sewing machine, and how to choose fabric for a sewing project. So everybody will be assigned one of these to research. So for my example, I'm just going to look up generic sewing. There was a video I saw earlier that I'd like to use. Let's see. Where did it go? Find a how-to sewing. So for you, if you were assigned how to sew a zipper, you would search how to sew a zipper. Let's see, so I'm going to do this one since this isn't one of our topics. It seems like a good one to look at. So it's called How to Sew, How to Cut Fabric. You might have to spend some time actually watching different videos because maybe the quality of this video here isn't as good as maybe this one down here. So you have to act as a teacher and really find that quality video that you want to spend time on. I'm just going to choose this one for now. So it'll select that video and put it into my project for me. Now I can rewatch the video, and then what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start making some questions on it. So here's my video.
Hey, welcome back. We're here in our studio, and you just made your first project. You're now a beginner with the basics of sewing. You know about the textiles, you know about the tools. Now let's go over some more specifics, like how to cut our fabric. Remember, I don't think I've said this enough, but you always want to use fabric scissors to cut fabric, not normal scissors. And when you're using fabric scissors, you only want to cut fabric with them, not anything else that will dull them.
All right, so you'd watch your video, you'd look through it, make sure you understand the content, and then once I'm happy with that video, I think this is a really good one, I'm going to click this blue button over here that says Use for this project. All right. So once I do that, it brings me to my screen where I can edit it. For some reason, if I don't want to use this video, I can click reset, I can go back and I can choose a different one. So the first thing it offers me is to cut it. So maybe I want to cut some of that intro so it's shorter. I can do that. I don't have to. But the main thing we want to do, you don't have to voice over if you don't want to, unless you have some tips to add. But the most important thing you have to have on here is we have to include questions. So you have an option. You can include multiple choice questions, open-ended questions, so they have to type a response. You can add a note or a tip. Maybe you did some extra research and found a really cool technique. Maybe you can add that note in there for us. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch my video over again, and throughout it, I'm going to add my questions to ask. There's going to be a requirement. As of now, I'm thinking about 5 questions per video or 6. I haven't decided on that, but that will be outlined again in our Google Classroom. So I'm going to watch my video.
Hey, welcome back. We're here in our anything else.
And I liked her talk about sewing scissors here. I think that's an important tip to remember. So she said the stuff about the scissors. So what I'm going to do is watch that over. I like that. I'm going to add a multiple choice question. For my question, I'm going to type the question here. So what should we use fabric scissors for? And then my choices. We can either do paper. We can do fabric. We can add a couple more choices. We can say fabric scissors for wood. Or we use fabric scissors for, I don't know. We'll just do 3. All right, so I have my choices here. What I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna choose which one's correct. So paper is wrong. I wanna make sure it's highlighted in the red X. Fabric is correct. I wanna make sure it has the green check. Wood is wrong. And then this one we have blank. I'm gonna delete it. So those are my choices. I'm gonna click save. We really want to make sure when we are assessing and choosing what questions we want to ask that they're really good questions that are causing people to think about the content. Don't make it too easy. We want to make sure that it's really assessing and it's an important thing. So I'm not going to ask a question like, what color is the iron in the back? We don't want to know that. We want to know about the content. And that's really what I'm going to be grading you on, is if you thought about the video, thought about the content, and asked really informative questions that will help me remember the important things. All right. So I can click continue
Anything
here.
else that will dull them. Once again, I have my rotary blade, or my fabric scissors, or my pinking shears. Pinking shears are ideal for cutting fabric if you don't want it to fray while you cut it. If you're a beginner, cut out all of your pieces with these guys, and you don't even have to worry about finishing them for now. We'll finish our projects the professional way later, but these are actually quite helpful for beginners.
Okay, so maybe I want to ask a question about pinking shears. Let's say I do an open-ended question. My question might be, what is the benefit of using pinking shears? Okay, that's a pretty good question. So I'll click save on there, and then the answer, they would have to go in and type and say that the benefit of using pinking shears is they cause your fabric not to fray. All right, so I'm asking questions that are making people think and remember the content. All right, so that's how we add our questions. Again, there's going to be a limit on the amount of questions you have to add. Again, if you want to cut things, you can. If you want to add a voiceover. But once you have your video you like, you've added your questions, we're going to click finish up here. All right, so once I've finished it, it has all my information. I can go back and edit it. I can go back and delete it and start over, or I can click turn in. I can view over it again, make sure there's no mistakes, how it'll look at the end.
Now let's go over some more
is
to cut fabric, not normal scissors. And when you're using fabric scissors, you only want to cut fabric with them, not any.
So what I like about this is it pops up the question right at that video, so I don't have to remember all the way till the end. I can remember what I just learned, and I can select my answer and hit submit. So I know that that's all ready to go. I'm going to click turn in. All right, And that's how you complete the project. So I can go back to my class. It'll show me that I've completed it. It will provide the grade to me so that I can give you guys a grade back. And then we're going to do a little more reflection on this after. But that's how you create the content. That's how you do some of the research and add the questions. So I hope this is helpful. Again, there's going to be more instructions on Google Classroom so that you can kind of know where to go. I miss you guys. I hope to see you soon. Have a good one.